leave it to the professionals.
Blessed by Pengu, blah, blah, blah.
Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hopes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been goated when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Call her Era Lord. Call me Levi, playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock, and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck is the
Started off with a
blockchain.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hopes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like LeBron James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. Refuse not falling for the FOMO. Listening to Coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum entities. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I got a shout out
Started
to
off with a
Pudgy.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hopes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Breaking the mood to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in suits. Yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, miny, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. I had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. So I had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the ride with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain GM. Thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate y'all being here. Happy Friday, the 13th. GM to Riss and Web3 Warhead there over in the YouTube chat. We hit our 300 subs yesterday. Appreciate y'all for that. Let's see if we can get 310 today. Teacher Katie leading the charge over in Abstract. My face is locked on a funny screen over there. I'm going to have to refresh that to get that out of the way. And X video is still doing X things. However, we are live on the Coffee with Captain account, and although you still can't find it in the feed over there, I am going to share a link to it in the comments, so it'll at least be discoverable for those of you that prefer to consume the show via X video. That is in the comments now. I'm going to pin it up top, and this was our workaround until things get fixed. We may just continue to go live from that account. Not a I guess it's not necessarily a new account. It's the old Degen account we rebranded, so it does have a decent follower base over there, but we've not been posting from it frequently. So if you've not yet given that account a follow, it's going to be just Coffee with Captain related. It'll have show post and some other stuff, but you'll find again the video if you're looking for the X video feed. That's pinned up top along with the Abstract chat and the YouTube chat. And it's a Friday, so it's our if we've not yet subbed to the Coffee with Captain newsletter, go give us some love on that as well. You take a few minutes, head to coffeewithcaptain.com, drop your email, and don't miss the Saturday newsletter weekly update, courtesy of our guy Payne. That said, jumping into things, I mentioned in the title, Mega ETH TBL flew past 100 million. Fear and Greed bouncing all the way up to 8 on a Friday here. And again, I'm not please don't take this out of context. I'm not picking on them. It shows how broken X is right now. When I went to go find something, and the first thing I see is the on the sidebar, we've got Martyr Market with 32 and Bread's account with 19. Again, a normal day for them is well over 500-600 on Bread's account. Modern Market account doesn't get quite as much, but it's just wild, like complete nerfing of discovery for X video. No idea why. They were pushing video. You'd think they would. They wanted video for a while, and it is. I mean, the video is being nerfed, unlike any nerfing I've seen on X before. It is pretty extreme. I mean, to the point they've completely taken away the discoverability of it. You can't find it. So unless you do the workaround and track it down and then comment, pin the post. That said, I'm going to stop venting. So I'm going to stop complaining about X. It is what it is. We'll focus on things we can control. Had a good chat with a good friend this morning. Got some, not really alpha, but just responding now. I'm probably going to leave it at that. But important stuff, cold open, important material. My daughter's first lacrosse game last night for her senior season. I think I shared on the show last week. She was voted captain, one of the 2 captains on the team. So a very, very proud dad moment because my I don't know, as a father, it was never go score a goal today or go be the best player today. It was always before every practice, every game, as long as I can remember since she started playing sports, was play hard, have fun, and be a leader. And a little frog in my throat. Not just her being named captain, but seeing her being a leader on the field, a leader amongst her peers, it really is. It gets me excited. I can't take any credit for it. She's an adult and young adult at that, but an adult, and it's just awesome to see her. Like this stuff to me, like I know sports aren't for everyone, and you don't have to play sports to be successful in life, but I attribute a lot of the success I had in my professional career, and especially leading high performing teams, to playing sports as a kid and then having some coaches that were my early mentors that instilled core values and beyond what my parents did, and success principles and leadership. It was tremendously impactful in my life, and it is something I'll be forever grateful for. And to see her kind of coming into her own and the confidence it's building is just awesome. Scored a goal and they crushed. They dominated. They gave up the first goal. We're down 1-0 early. I was getting a little worried, and then they ran off like 10 unanswered, and so much. They were up so big at half. They ended up winning 16-2, but they're up so big at halftime that her and the rest of the starters didn't even play the entire second half. But didn't come off the field in the first half. Played really hard. Played some great defense. Scored a goal. Had some awesome assists, and love to see it. Their team has been not bad, but they've not been. There's like tiers to this thing, and there's a couple of like really dominant schools. There has been some really dominant schools in this area, and I don't know. We'll see. They won pretty handily, easily last night. I'm excited for them to face even some of these teams that have dominated them in the past, and see how they fare. And they may not have broken into that level, but they're pretty talented. I know I'm biased, for my own daughter, but there's a junior on the team that's already committed to Oregon, so already has a D1 scholarship as a junior. She scored her 100th goal in her high school career last night. So, I mean, it's first game of her junior year. So basically 100 goals, nearly 100 goals in her first 2 years. And they have a sophomore who's already approaching that, a sophomore that's at like 94 goals. So the goalie had, goalie's pretty solid, and they've got a couple of prolific scorers. My daughter plays midfield, and if you're not familiar with the game, kind of like a point guard, but plays offense, defense. And anyways, enough lacrosse for those of you who don't turn in, but proud dad moment, wanted to share. I'm sure I'll brag on her at least once, twice more throughout the season, but a couple months, and then she hangs up the cleats and heads off to college. I'm going to say this joke out loud because I guess I will share who I was. I shared it with my good friend Steve this morning. I told him happy 1-year anniversary for the C token announcement for those who celebrate. I say this in good fun. So I saw someone else share it was a February 13th of 2025. They announced C is coming. A few things to know. Historical OpenSea usage, not just recent activity, will be an important ingredient. Claim process will be simple and accessible. US users welcome. Focused on long-term sustainability and supporting a healthy, enduring community. No details on timing yet. Taking learnings from the space and getting it right. Only trust updates from OpenSea Foundation. That's FDN. And I'm excited for it. I'm excited for my guy Steve. I was pretty vocal, not necessarily critical, but I was pretty candid and shared some feedback early on before he joined the team there. And I can't think of a better person for the job than bringing him on and leading comms and PR over there. And it is bullish for their future, partially because of the people they've added to the team and how they're moving. I see Joey's post from Kong Trading. BZ just broke into the top 10 for metrics in the last 30 days. Some projects don't need hype or a token. They just build and let the work speak for themselves. Huge things are coming. Thank you, Twitter Score, for the data here. Twitter Score. So they broke into the top 10 in Twitter Score. I'm not exactly sure what that entails. It's a new one for me, but it's top 10 is Banker, FOMO, Bags, ETH Gas, Base, Hyperliquid, ETH Gas. That was a funny one. Cast is who just launched the Pudgy Penguin card. Polymarket, then Pudgy Penguin and BZ. So congrats on some virility over there. Good to see the BZ team getting some love. I'm going to pin that up top. And as a reminder, we shared yesterday the Coffee with Captain Community Member of the Month for February is going to be getting a $250 gold TCG BZ call pull. We'll do that. We'll pick our winner the last Friday of the month, and good luck. Make sure if you want to get a chance to win that $250 BZ claw pull, make sure you're subscribed over on YouTube. You can find that pinned up top as well. We talked about the Pengu card yesterday. I'm going to once again drop that. I'm going to drop that ref link up top if you've not yet signed up for the wait list. This is not a credit application or anything at all. It's just you're expressing interest, wanting to get in on the get more details or potentially get a card when they launch. A ref link for Pengu card. And speaking of, we had a chat. I'm going to kind of continue on a conversation from yesterday from our Discord, and just some conversations around Pudgy Penguins, Igloo. They had a pop-up shop in New York, had a little line out the door, and conversation on as far as the building is their sustainable, scalable business. They've certainly proliferated the IP. After we were having this conversation, one of my group chats, in our life friend group chats, it's called Robot Future, and it's just we shared this yesterday. They shared it's from self-driving cars to robot mowers, lawn mowers, and everything in between. They shared a Pudgy Penguin GIF yesterday, talking about, if the robots do take over, this will be more of us in the future. And it was two Pudgy Penguins playing pickleball. They have proliferated GIFs. Like how they monetize that, I don't know. Maybe something will come out of that in the future. I would love to see them, and I don't know all the answers. I'm not gonna claim all the answers. I would love to see them break out of crypto more than they have. I know that they haven't. The comment I said yesterday, just point blank, was I wonder where they would be at if they were following the Klanos path. The Klanos, I guess, let me just explain what I view as the differences from an outsider with not a dog in the race. I guess I do have a Popkin now, so I'm whatever. If you want to call that bag bias, feel free. Not a sponsored post, and I'm not. I like the team. We've talked about them numerous times before adding a single little Popkins to my bags. But whereas Klanos is really aggressively going after non-Web3, non-crypto audience. We talked about their the summit, the kids summit that they're at yesterday. It's about IP and really making some splashes outside of the space. they have, per the team, turned down or deferred some big brand partnerships, feeling the time isn't necessarily right, grow the brand bigger. Whereas it's not just Pudgy. We've seen it with Doodles and Apes and many others do these big brand collaborations. Oftentimes, I think those collaborations probably cost the brands money. Even if they're selling product, it's they're below these big brands on the the social hierarchy, the brand hierarchy, and if anything, it's a revenue share. They might make a little bit, but at the end of the day, what I've really yet to see is I'm like struggling to think of a great activation where they had one of these massive partnerships and then they actually converted that. These massive partnerships are great for top of funnel, but I haven't seen any brands pull any material amount of users through the funnel to where they become an actual brand ambassador. I'm not even saying they have to go out and buy an NFT, but they join the community, they come back and they participate on and on again, whether it was from F1 to Man City, or again, this isn't just a Pudgy thing. You could talk Doodles and McDonald's cups and Apes and their streetwear collaborations. Like most of the people, like, did some of that escape? Did you see Kai Cenat wearing the Bape slippers, the Bape Board Ape Yacht Club's collaborated slippers? Yeah. I don't know if that did anything in terms of helping the long-term sustainability of the business. Like, I don't know as if that sort of brand recognition does much. Now, Yuga does have their merch store always on. I don't know if that's really moving the needle much. I don't think there's anyone that's not in the community or outside of crypto that's going and buying any of their merch right now. I'd be glad to be wrong. I just don't see that happening. And this isn't about like onboarding the masses. Just like, it's more about how are they going to build a sustainable business? And the ones that, I guess I should say, the ones I do think have done it well would be Rect, Rect Drinks and that brand breaking out of crypto, Web3. They're in supermarkets. They're in, they did the X Games partnership. Like, that makes sense. I think where Pengu in this Pengu card could potentially, gain a new audience is, or let me say this, like, when they have a win, when they have someone that buys a plushie or something, where's that connection? How do you get them? Is it Pudgy World? Are they just waiting on Pudgy World? I don't know. I guess with Yuga, it's like, how do they turn someone who sees a collaboration merch drop or fill in the blank, a BMW partnership, how do they pull them into the other side? I don't know. Like, what I'm saying is I haven't seen it yet, and maybe it's just too early and it's not ready yet. Yuga did the other side, did the big partnership with Amazon and Amazon Gaming. Is that bringing daily active users into the other side? Some. I just don't think it's very many, and I don't, to the point where I don't know if it makes any sort of material impact in terms of the revenues and the profitability and the long-term sustainability of the business. All that being said, I don't want to just critique an armchair quarterback. It's easy for me to point out any shortcomings or opportunities that these brands might have. I would like to think of some solutions. Like, if you are in Luca's corner, what would you suggest that Pudgy Penguins do to move into a non-crypto audience? Clearly the gifts are out there in the non-crypto audience. Clearly people share those gifts frequently. How do they take that and that recognition and actually turn it into a profit center? I don't know the answer. I'm asking if anyone has any ideas. I'd love to hear it and kind of have a little bit of conversation about this. We will talk a little bit about Mega ETH. There's a few other things happening on that new chain. And the other topic, before I get to Joey here on my tick list today, I mean, we may hit on the Netherlands and their 36% unrealized gain or unrealized gains tax, which is just mind blowing to me. But we may hit on that. We may touch base on the Zeek cards. If anyone is hunting for a Zeek card, let me know. I've got a few of those left to hand out. And the other topic, when we talk about these NFT brands, and this is, I'm kind of attempting to connect some dots here. And while I don't know the exact solution, what I think could be a possibility is somehow some connection with AI, in particular AI agents, in particular this post from Nat yesterday who says, how funny would it be if there's another NFT bull run because people want cool PFPs for their agents? Only 10,000 agents can have punks. Says I was half joking when I posted this, but the more I think about it, the more it makes sense. Agents are actually a much better use case for NFT-based PFPs. I agree. I quote tweeted yesterday, said this is actually the strongest thesis I've seen yet. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but of everything that I said, oh, NFTs are back. They're not. Like no one knew is like they've got a very negative connotation for most people who aren't here yet. Those of us that came in 21, 22, might be some nostalgia. We might love the communities. What we've not yet really seen is actually utility has went backwards from where it once was. And I'm not making this PvP. Actually, I will make it PvP slightly and kind of having some fun with it here in a minute, specifically apes versus pudgies. But I'm more so talking like there's outside of this space, outside of people maybe shifting or joining new communities, no one's looking, oh, I need to go secure my digital identity for the metaverse. Maybe other side nails it, Pudgy World nails it, something hits and like everyone, it becomes a big thing. I think it's much more likely that agents, people creating agents, they want to have, and some will just create their own PFPs. I get that. I'm not saying it happens. Could happen. My question, help me think through this, talk through this in real time. How might, whether it's NFT PFPs or just AI agents in on-chain, beyond transacting, beyond authentication and proving someone's human or not human, how do we connect these dots? I don't know what it is. I was on record last year. I said AI agents are going to be to 2025 as NFTs were to 2020. Well, I was wrong, or I was early. Maybe it happens in 2026, not to the extreme, but I think there's something there. I'm continuing to, it's not leaving my brain. I just don't know how to connect these dots. Joey, I know you flew up a little earlier and put your hand up, so feel free to hit on whatever brought you up first, and then curious your thoughts on, can agents bring back an NFT PFP bull run?
I came up when you started talking about the Pengu card, so I did a bunch more research. So I don't know if you had gone into like detail about it, but I signed up for the waiting list. I then got an email, which obviously at first I was very skeptical because I was like, wait a minute, I'm getting an email that's telling me I need to go fill out a form, because you know how we are in this space where like if we get anything, it's immediately a scam. But it was legit, and you have to download. In America, obviously, I don't know what it's like in other parts of the world. You had to download the Cast app, and you have to go through like a whole KYC process with uploading, putting a security number in, putting in your driver's license.
Who was the email from? I signed up, and I just saw there's been 2 of you who've clicked that referral link, so thank you. I don't think I got the email.
Hold on one second. It comes from Cast. The email address that it comes from is waitlist@cast.xyz. Basically what happens is you download the mobile app for Cast. And when you download the mobile app, you go through a KYC process where you put in all your information, your social security number, you upload a driver's license, all that stuff.
So are you, sorry for anyone that's got OCD, my apologies for giving you a panic attack when you see my 43,153 unread emails. Welcome to my inbox. Are you...
The subject line is you're on Pengu card waitlist.
Yeah, I did find it. I do have it. It was hidden in that 43,154 unread emails previously. Top 10 referrers on the leaderboard win a Pengu black card.
Yeah, so the black card, so it's not a credit card, it's a debit card.
So what are you putting your social, or is it just KYC to get the, help me connect some dots there?
So what you're going to do is you're going to download the Cast mobile app, and then So you'll see right in the body of the email, it says download and sign up, and it's a link, go.cast.xyz. You make sure you sign up for the mobile app with the same email address you signed up with for the wait list, and then you go through a KYC process of filling out, your name, address, social security number, upload a passport or driver's license or whatever, because and then the bottom of the email has like your referral link, so that way you can refer people to earn points. But what's interesting though is like it's a debit card, not a credit card. So like there is no credit check, which is I thought was weird that they wanted your social security number, even though because there's not a credit check. But I guess I mean I'm sure it's different in different countries, right? Like I'm sure the requirements in America are different than the requirements in Dubai, which are different in Thailand or whatever. But so it's a debit card, and based on the tier of the debit card depends on how much you earn in rewards. So the black cards will earn 12% in rewards, and the bottom tier will earn 6%.
Where did you find that information? Is that in the app?
No, I just started doing research. Like I just started going online and reading and going through stuff, and I think there's let me see if I can find the actual article. Let me see here. Hold on.
Yeah, I couldn't find an article on it. I guess that's part of where I got hung up.
Yeah, so it's it's actually on the Cast website. There's a blog section of the Cast website. Let me get the link. Hold on. Copy link. Let me post it in the little purple pill for you. Okay, here we go. So there's a blog post on the Cast website that goes through like, so there's going to be 170 plus countries with 150 plus merchants, including ATMs and whatever that, basically that accept Visa, where you'll be able to use stable coins to pay for stuff. So it breaks down the tiers in that blog post where it talks about, so you get 2% in Cast points and 4% in Move if you're on the standard card, and then the Pengu Premium is 5 and 4, and the Pengu Lux is 8 and 4. So it's a debit card essentially where you'll hold your stable. So instead of holding your stable coins on a Coinbase or wherever, right? Like they're encouraging you to move your stable coins to this debit card that you'll be able to actually spend your stable coins at, these 150 million merchants and ATMs all around the world. And then while holding those stable coins, and I'm sure there's probably going to be additional tiers. I can't imagine it's just like this card gets you this card gets you this card gets you this. I'm sure it's going to be like, there's probably going to be more within that. Like you have to hold so much in stable coins, like how the Coinbase One credit card is, right? Like you can't just have the credit card and earn 5% or whatever. You have to have so much in crypto.
Or a Pudgy Penguin or a little Pudgy. Like this is where I guess when I go back to NFT utility, that we went so far away. Like there used to be most of the NFT PFPs, they leaned into the utility model, and then we went so far away from it. And some of this, like whether it's free shipping or free pair of socks with an order, or if you hold a Pudgy Penguin, you get black card access, like things like that. Maybe I'm missing something. It just seems like, and is that going to drive millions of new users? Probably not.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Like the Pengu Black Card is, so to earn the Pengu Black Card, you have to be in the top 10% of the leaderboard, or you have to have a minimum of 2 referrals to be entered into a giveaway for a Pengu Black Card. And I don't know how many people will win the giveaway. I'm surprised that with the partnership with Pudgy and Pengu, that like if you hold 100 million Pengu, I don't know what the number is, right? I'm just making up a number, right? If you're a holder of 100 million Pengu, you get a Pengu Black Card. Or if you're a holder of a little Pudgy, a big Pudgy, and 100 million Pengu, you get a Black Card. Like, I'm surprised that maybe they will. Maybe maybe as they get closer, more utility or more announcements will come. But I would think that, like, being part of the ecosystem for a card that's literally called the Pengu card, there would be some type of rewards for, like, the biggest holders or the most, loyal members of that community, not competing with, just some random person who can get a lot of referrals because they have a big, they have a big network,
You'd think so. And I guess, like, to my earlier point of bringing the top of funnel, how do you bring them into your ecosystem? How do you monetize that? Well, per the cast account, there was 100,000 signups in just over a day. I don't know if there's currently an active, at least not on CT, 100,000 active participants here. Maybe Cast email database, maybe Pengu, but that's without knowing the details, without knowing the business model. Cast is the bank behind this, the neobank behind this, and
you could bot signups, Cap. Like, you could easily bot a signup. The question is, how many of those signups actually then went and did all the steps
there you go
in the email that was sent to them?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, so like I'll be honest, when we first launched BZ on Blast, we had a referral program for signups, and we every, like, couple weeks we'd have to go and do, like, a bot cleanse because people were botting signups because they thought they were going to beat the system and get points, and we were very clear, like, we're instituting anti-bots. So, like, yes, they might have had 100,000 signups, but how many of those 100,000 got the email, clicked the email, downloaded the mobile app, and did whatever verification process they needed to do to actually, like, get the card? So again, with that leaderboard that you're seeing for the top 10, that's people that have posted their link, and then people have signed up. That doesn't mean that they went on they downloaded the Cast app and went through the whole process. So, like, how accurate really is that leaderboard if people aren't going through the whole process versus rewarding your most loyal community member? And again, they might do that. I'm not saying they're not going to. And then I would also imagine there should be some additional yield on holding Pengu too. Because all they talk about right now in the article, and what I found, is stable coins. So USDC, USDT, things like that. I would hope that there's a partnership with the actual Pengu token.
Same.
Where, like, if you move your Pengu and I don't know the logistics of the smart contracts and all that stuff that exists, but I would hope that there's also something where it says, like, hey, move your Pengu to your Cast account and earn 6% on your Pengu as well. Because again, like, why is it just a Pengu card because there's a cute penguin on the card? Is that it? Is that the whole partnership? Or are there going to be additional benefits for us that hold Pengu and hold little Pudgies and hold big Pudgies and all that stuff?
Well, I think part of the question too is, what are the rewards? 6 to 12% sounds great, but if it's in Pengu, may not be that great. No offense to Pengu. It's like, I'd rather have my rewards in stables or even Bitcoin. More details needed to really determine your point on 100,000 signups sounds great. How many of them actually, not forgetting how many were bots or not, how many of them took the next step and clicked through the email, downloaded the app, and did the KYC? I'm guessing it's a lot less than 100,000. Probably, I'd guess less than 1,000 after a day, but I'm happy to be wrong there. Oxy GM, welcome to the stage. Thoughts on this?
GM, yeah. I'm with you. I'm shocked that there aren't more benefits and perks to Pengu holders or NFC holders and stuff like that. And, like, it was speaking to the like, if you transfer Pengu over to the card or to your account there, like, you get more yield, or you get yield on those balances and stuff. And this is where, like, it was funny. So like, Modern Market had one of the founders of my Ethan yesterday, and he's talking about real yield versus fake yield. And a lot of DeFi protocols have fake, like, or not a lot, but there are a lot of, like, there are people who promote fake yield in DeFi, where it's like, there's nothing backing this 8%. It's just the Ponzonomics of everything.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So like when I try to break this down, I'm like, okay, if Pudgy Penguins or Igloo or whatever company is trying to give you yield on holding an NFT or depositing a meme coin, like that, there's no way they're getting that kind of a yield out of anything related to those assets being held by you or those assets being put into a pool or into a wallet or what have you. Like if they, so let's just play it out. Like if you put in a million Pengu into the cast account, they can probably go put it into a liquidity pool or something like that. But the impermanent loss on the fluctuations there are just so dramatic that yield goes away immediately. And similarly, like if they did something weird with the NFTs where you could stake them and then maybe they go put it onto a lending protocol where, you know, they can lend out these, well, that wouldn't even work anyway because it's going the opposite way. So I mean, you know, I'm just struggling to understand how that works.
Again, I'm not claiming to know all the answers. I don't. But this is exactly where I was going with this and what I would love to see, especially in today's world with AI and what these agents are capable of and automating a lot of this stuff. We were talking the other day about the impact of stablecoins and stablecoins in business, you know, that MoonPay partnership and 40,000 businesses not only being able to extend, you know, pay their employees in stables. As soon as we start seeing stables at retail, I know this act has to pass or I don't know what's happening. I guess the headline we're bearing the lead is Coinbase earnings was a massive miss. I can't remember the last time I saw such a miss on forecast versus actuals from the company that I follow. I'm sure there's been others, but as far as companies that I follow or have any exposure to, huge miss on their earnings. And then I think it was our guy Warp Joe shared that in the stuff Brian said in the earnings call and the forward-looking statements were based on the House's version of the bill. And if it doesn't get changed back, like they're the big resistance right now and trying to get, you know, if they don't get yield on stables. And I think I saw that the current iteration of the bill could cost them to the tune of like $1 billion, or maybe it's $1 billion less upside for them if it goes through the way that they'd like to see it. Lost my train of thought where I was connecting that dot, but the overarching point being is like when we're talking like the power of stablecoin payments in a small medium retail business, they bring in money and they're immediately earning yield on that, as opposed to sitting in an operating account and not earning any interest. Further, when you think about at this level, at cards and payment processing, and like you said, hey, if you hold a million Pengu, you get more rewards. Like there's got to be a way to connect some of those dots where it's. And I know this isn't new. I know banks and credit card companies and even big box retailers that do 120 day terms. The reason they do that is they're making money on the money. And I get all that. I just have to imagine that for those that are, I guess what I'd love to see is some of these crypto native companies connect those dots. And now all of a sudden, it's not just Pengu and the Pengu fans and those that are crypto natives, but consumers could be better rewards for consumers. Further, a better business model for the businesses, the processors. Like make that capital and that revenue productive sooner rather than later. And then, yeah, to Oxy's point, find a way. How do you incorporate utility, whether it's a fungible token, whether it's an NFT, give people and I understand while most of these PFP companies that have dropped the token, it's far more in their best interest to pump and promote and amplify the token, the fungible token, than it is the NFTs. I get it. Most of the NFT PFP companies, they don't make very little, if any, money when someone goes and buys an NFT. It's just the numbers it's such a small number. I am a proponent of protected royalties, and I'd like to see more move to protected royalty contracts. All that still being said, I would love to see more focus on how do we drive utility back to the PFP? How do we drive utility back to the fungible token? Give people reasons to want to buy and hold beyond just speculating on number go up. And again, don't have all the answers. I know it's easy for me to sit here and critique and armchair quarterback this thing, but I'm not. This isn't like new. I'm not making this stuff up. It's not like, oh, we could do this. It's like the NFT PFP space was doing this. It was a big part of 21, 22, 23. Whether it was access or, and please note, like the last thing I'm gonna is talking about magical internet money. Like, our airdrops, can they be great? Yeah, but I like that's just short. I think we've seen it now played out where if there's going to be any sort of NFT PFP getting allocation for a token, whether it's the native token from the project like Burb, or it's a third party, it will lead to a short-term pump and then a sell-off as soon as the claim happens. And oftentimes the floor price of those NFTs is lower than where it was when it started. I don't think that's the answer. I when I'm talking utility, it's not more airdrops, rather what sort of access, what sort of perks, what sort of utility can it unlock? And I don't know. Well, let's go back to Oxy for a response, and we'll get Joey back in here.
Yeah, said it really well there. And Gary actually said something, replied in the comments, and really good point, saying that it's not U.S. compliant. And I don't know if he was referring to Genius and the changes that the banks are trying to make right now, but the fact that they're trying to distribute yield on stable coins via a third party, I think this is exactly what the banks are currently fighting against.
Yep.
That will, like, if it goes through, will actually make this non-compliant with U.S. regulations. So really interesting point. And I think that's how this would be applied, how Genius would be applied to this.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah, really
if,
interesting.
If you can't, like, well, I guess the cast, this is all about stables and putting your stables there. Like, I wonder if like the Pengu tie in, like, oh, it's not a stable coin, so you can, if you spend your Pengu, you can earn rewards in Pengu, and that's not going to be in any sort of conflict with the regulation. Am I reaching here? I don't know if you want to get back in there.
I don't think Pengu is one of the listed currencies that's going to be accepted. So I don't think there'd be a way based on the article.
Why not? I don't get that.
Because with stables, it's 1-to-1, right? So like if you walk into a business and you buy a new TV for $1,000, you pay with 1,000 USDC, or you pay with 1,000 USDT. If you're going to try to pay with Pengu, there has to be, and it's not difficult, right? Like the technology exists where the conversion can be done.
It already happens.
But the issue is the volatility of that token.
Yeah, but
for the business,
but it's already exists. Like Coinbase does that today with their debit card. Like if you want to go, I think Pengu is on, or no, Pengu's not on Coinbase yet. I thought Pengu was on Coinbase. Anyway, it doesn't.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just making an assumption on why they're probably sticking with stables. Is that there's no volatility in stables like there are in something like a Pengu.
Yeah, but let there be an option. Like if you wanted to go pay with Pengu using your Coinbase debit card, or you want to go pay with Ape or Dogecoin, like that's existed for, I think, well over a year. And on Coinbase, while today their program, their debit card, you can get rewards in, it's like 0.5% back in ETH. I think it's actually just, it's available rewards today on Coinbase, 0.5% back in ETH, 0.5% back in USDC, 0.5% back in Bitcoin. Guess if anyone can, without looking, if anyone can guess the fourth thing you can get rewards on for using your Coinbase debit card. Joey will give you a claw pull from BC. I kid, but the fourth one is shocking. I mean, it's a known crypto, but not, I would have never guessed. It's ETH, USDC, Bitcoin, and if anyone can guess the fourth reward that you get 0.5% back in, my jaw would probably drop. Go ahead, Joey.
I didn't think about when Oxy was talking about like Pengu and like how would the reward, like, how would they actually be able to give these rewards, and right, like when then he started, and it made total sense. And that's why I went back. Then I started to think, and I was like, I feel like the easiest lift here, again, if you want to find a way to reward people in the Pudgy Penguins ecosystem, the Igloo ecosystem, whatever we're calling it now, is, and you want to encourage people to get it, to your point, like get into the ecosystem, is have that tier system, right, of the black, premium, and standard, and say like the only way to earn a black card is to hold a big Pudgy, a little Pudgy, and whatever it is, 100 million Pengu. And now when people discover this card that allows them to spend their crypto, right, anywhere in the world, well, 150 countries or whatever it is, right, and they're like, oh, cool, I could get this card to spend my crypto literally at ATMs or point of sale systems. Oh, and there's 3 tiers. Oh, awesome. Okay, I want to earn more yield on my. How do I get to the top tier? Oh, so to get to the top tier, I have to own a big Pudgy, a little Pudgy, and 100 million Pengu. Okay, how do I do that? And right on the website, there's links. And I don't know. Again, I'm not in the room with these people. I don't know, like, if this is something where Cast even needs Pudgy to do this, or Pudgy went to them or whatever. But and then it's like, okay, great. So I want the black card. And the only way to earn the black card is click this link and buy a big Pudgy. Cool. Click this link and buy a little Pudgy. Cool. Click this link, buy 100 million Pengu. Cool. Now I have a black card. And now I'm earning 12% in whatever the rewards are.
Yep. Be epic.
I don't know. I don't know if anybody would spend that kind of money, right? Like maybe that's a little extreme, asking them to spend like 5 ETH plus whatever to get the black card, but maybe there is a way.
My point is, it doesn't need to be the only thing, but you can, like, it might be attractive to, if someone's using the card, and like, it's at least going to get them to think. It's at least going to get them to consider. It's going to get them to look at these other assets. Be Epic adds, yeah, I agree. I bought my Pudgy last year at 29K. Where's my black card? I would just, I guess, where I net out, whether it's card rewards or free shipping on merch or free socks. Like, I know some people like may dunk on, oh, I'm going to go buy a $10,000 asset to get a free pair of socks. No, but it's showing alignment. It's giving your current holders a little bit of perk, a little bit of something that they couldn't get if they didn't hold the asset. So it's a reason to retain users and reason them to continue to hold their assets. But I think also, as you continue to stack this sort of stuff, it's at least an attempt to give others a reason to join the ecosystem. And I think just showing that alignment is powerful. I'm not expecting dollar for dollar return. I'm not expecting, if I go buy a Pudgy Penguin for 4 ETH, that I'm going to get 4 ETH of rewards next month or next year. But if these are lifetime memberships, it's lean into that stuff a little bit. Von Brutton, talked about it. It talks about his Delta card, and the perks he gets from just the lounge access. Miles are one thing. Lounge access is valuable. I thought we would see an NFT PFP brand partner with American Express or Delta, or like one of these travel companies, one of these airlines that has lounge access at airports. I haven't seen it. Maybe I'm naive and it's just not, it's cost prohibitive and it doesn't return any value to the, to the brand. And I fully understand these brands can't give away free utility forever. They can't just turn on cost centers without a path to revenue. I get all that. I don't expect everyone to do it. I just thought we would see more of an attempt to drive. Well, we did see it. That's partially why. And I don't know where, I don't know if he looked, but Brick It All guessed the 4th reward is Stellar Lumen. That was not on my bingo card, but congratulations, Brick It All. If you didn't look and you just knew that, I'm impressed. Was not anticipating that. I do want to keep moving though. We've spent, we've probably exhausted the conversation around cards. We can continue to talk utility. And one of the things that I'm not for, let me rephrase this. I didn't used to be for PFP NFT brands going PvP. I think we need to bring it back in a fun, lighthearted way. And I think maybe one of the things that we've seen as these brands have matured and is they've all went down like slightly different paths where they aren't really directly competing. At least they're not competing outside of crypto. I think what could be beneficial to the active participants here is if we do see a little bit of competing in the crypto arena in the form of utility. Like, why hold this over that? Why buy this over that? And remove the magical internet tokens from the equation. I would like if one of them does it, it's you in theory, and it works and it drives success. You could see others attempt to one up them and start again. I think the alignment, the driving utility back to supporters, back to brand ambassadors, it matters. And which NFT PFP brands are leaning into AI? Is there any NFT PFP brands that are helping their community create their own open clause or lean into some sort of agentic on-chain activations world? Like, we're just, while they're all, it's hard to even, because they're all really, quite frankly, the ones that are still around and a going concern have went in very different paths to where they're not directly competing. Maybe you could say some of them, well, Pengu or Igloo has abstract, Yuga has Ape Chain. I think they're just two very different things. Ape Chain is the home of Other Side, and yes, there's NFTs there, but it's really everything. Other Side is the driving force behind Ape Chain. It's their flagship DApp, if you will. But since I said we're going to go make this little PvP today, I just saw this. I'm not the one tweeted it out. Block's longtime fan of the show, regular out there, says, looks like apes are the face of digital collectibles again. Great to see real collector value, not just churn to offload a token. Apes and Pudgies were correlated fairly closely. That is broken since the first of the year. Since January 1st of this year, apes have went from 4.22 to 6.37 ETH, up 50%. Now that's in ETH terms. ETH is, I believe, down quite a bit since first of the year. So it's not like the floor price is up dollar terms 50%, but still from going from 4.2 to 4.36, up 50%. Meanwhile, Pudgies have went from 3.79 to 4.22, up 11%. Pretty big gap there. I'm sharing. Hey, it wasn't my post. I'm just commentating on another post on the timeline. And let's bring back a little bit of the fun, lighthearted nature of PvP. It's not just floor price, but I think competition's a good thing. And maybe that's what we need more of, is if they're not competing in the businesses they're building, it's fine. I know floor price isn't the best metric, but it's something. And I would love to see the closest thing we got PvP wise, or got like that community groundswell was you're talking Death Star recently and them going after Moonbirds and whoever they attack next. That's a little maybe more extreme on the PvP side, but I do think if we bring back that competition, that spirit of competition inside of crypto and specifically inside of NFT PFPs, it drives innovation. It drives new ideas. It drives new creative endeavors. And it just, quite frankly, it's not just NFT PFPs, but crypto right now, it's kind of in a boring lull. It's not just price action. It's Mega ETH just launched. They got, there's some new stuff happening over there. Most of their big flagship dApps are still to come soon. There's just not a lot else going on right now. I mean, we spent the first 40 minutes talking about stable coins and a debit card, something that's existed for years in this space. And now a new one's getting launched. And that's a news item today. By the way, of real news, and we'll get Gary in here and they'll go back to Joey. CPI did come out and it beat expectations. We'll see how the market responds. We'll see if we get that coffee with Captain Pump. Bitcoin's up $1,000 on the day. Well, up almost 2% to 67,341. Most of that coming since the CPI print at 8:30. We might come back to that deeper. If any of our big economical brains want to comment or talk about macro or CPI, feel free to drop those thoughts, comments in the chat, or feel free to join us on stage. Gary, GM, I know I saw your comment as well. Shout out to Oxy for calling attention to that. You want to expand upon that, or feel free to take whichever direction you'd like?
Yeah, GM. No, I mean, I think that, we've got this weird situation right now where yield just isn't legal in the US in any way you do it. And it's all an inflation or a deflation of your value in your tokens. So if Pengu or any other token is giving you yield, they're lowering the value of your token because they're giving it out for free. We've seen it. I think the biggest example that I've seen is with Jupe. They've had this example of doing Jupuary, and the Jupe token has performed absolutely horribly on Solana for a protocol that generates substantial revenue and is, arguably the best opportunity on Solana to exchange tokens, but they can't figure out the model to make their token work. But that's not why it popped up.
Are they doing?
I did pop up to talk about. Yeah, go for it.
You're just a real quick question if I could ask, because I am aware of Jupe. I'm familiar with their Jupuary. Are they also doing token buybacks, or no? Is it just the rewards?
They did, but it didn't move the needle.
Okay. So they did. They've stopped doing token buybacks. And
yeah, because they oversupplied the market.
Yep.
And that's the big problem we have with most tokens is they're oversupplied. And when you oversupply the market, or when you hold back a bunch and you have to keep giving them away to get your token out into circulation, they just kept buying it and people just kept dumping. Jupe originally launched at like 70 cents. And this week it was like 14 cents.
Yep, 14.4 right now. And to your point, there's a total supply of Jupe is 7 billion. The circulating supply is only 3.24. So they still have half of the supply to unlock. There's only half the supply in circulation currently.
Yeah, and they've been giving it out for free for years now. And they still have one more airdrop that they've postponed for a minute, but it's coming out sometime. The last Jupuary was supposed to be January, but now I guess it's coming out maybe in March or April. Something like that. So another 200 million or something that's going to drop or something like that, some big number. But anyway, you were talking about, PvP. And look, I've always said the whole time, giraffe on top, and that's our goal. I'm a sports guy and I'm a UNC fan. And we beat Duke the other night at a buzzer beater. And that's part of the rivalry of what we have in life is the brand that you believe in winning. And we used to have this concept in crypto that, a win for this is a win for that. But we've turned it's not true. If one project wins and gets something big, it's great and you can acknowledge them and all those things, but it's not a win for all projects. It's a win for that one project and that one community's holders. But the reason why I popped up today was you talked about AI, and that's something that we pivoted into pretty big. We pivoted into utility with Giraffe. We pivoted into building an AI agent that trades for you. We're still in early testing, but we've done about 7.7 million in volume on perps on Solana. And every Giraffe gets access to a stacker agent that trades for you. It's working well. You have to have the token in order to get access to the models. The models are improving every day. And I think that's something that more and more projects can do is they can find their unique lane. We decided not to follow or not to copy, just to go out and figure out what our community needed. Our mission is to stop trading time for money. One of the best ways you can stop trading time for money is using AI, letting it trade for you in crypto. So we built the technology and gave it to our drafts for free. So not to shill, but just an example of how you can pivot and help solve your core mission by giving your internal, your team, your community, your holders, give them utility. And we have still a low holder count, but we have people that have never sold a single Giraffe. They own over 100 and they've owned for 5 years. So we have a very loyal holder count as well.
Yeah, no, congrats on that. I guess when I do think like there's going to be some big wave of, there's going to be some major agentic opportunity on chain, not just the stuff we know, not just agents transacting, not just authentication, not just their directories. I don't know what it is, but I'm pretty confident that's going to be the next meta. If not the next one soon, there'll be some opportunity for those of us who are here, those of you that are paying attention, those of you that are quote unquote early to something, or want to be early to something. I think it's going to be there. Does agentic trading make sense? It does. And I'm not doubting, I'm not challenging your results. What I've seen mostly so far is, can they go transact? Can they go do trades? Yes. but I think we might be an update or two from the LLM standpoint away from them being better traders. That now I think where they can execute is they're non-emotional. So you can plug in your strategies and crux. You can, if you're up, you get in on a token and you're up 5 figures, and now you're euphoric and you don't want to sell the token. Well, if an agent was doing that for you, it's going to follow the plan. So I think probably the biggest opportunity for traders with agents right now, or agentic trading, is having a good plan and then the agent sticking to it, the agent not being emotional. That said, if just like giving an agent $1,000 and saying, hey, go maximize this for me, go grow my, I don't know if it's quite like, have we seen some results? Yeah, there's also people who opened up, a Polymarket account with $100 and they grew it to $56,000 in 24 hours. Like, it's not normal. I don't know if it's, I guess personally, I'm not confident yet that an agent trading is going to be more successful than myself or people that are better than myself at trading. I think we'll get there. I think not just crypto trading. I think most markets will become insanely efficient in the relatively near future because they'll just get better. I don't know if they're quite there yet. And this is one area, like agentic trading is one area that, just as Gary described, more NFT PFP brands could lean into. I saw some comments also in the chat about totally with Bearish AF has been doing like some vibe coding training. I also saw over in the I guess YouTube chat, Otis saying, Ape Chain is pushing tech education through vibe coding camps and 3D lessons, actively growing the number of potential future blockchain and other size builders from in-house. I love that. I still would like to see, and I don't even know what the answer is, right?
Well, Captain, I mean, you drive a Tesla, right?
Correct.
And Tesla's been working on full self-driving now for 10 plus years.
Yep.
And it keeps getting better. I just bought a Tesla and it's great. So it keeps getting better and better and better. So the thesis early on with Tesla was, if I buy the Tesla, I'm investing, I'm supporting, I'm getting access to something that eventually will be able to drive itself. And I think that that's where we're at with trading. I agree with you. We're not there yet. We've only done 7.7 million in transactional volume. Elon has said that Tesla needs 10 billion self-driving miles before he feels confident to say it's self-driving. I think models are going to need the same thing. They're going to need millions or billions of dollars worth of trading volume before they get there. But at the end of the day, we could all try to figure out how to make our car drive itself, or we could align and say, let's invest, let's buy the technology, let's hold the assets, let's do the blank, so we can help Tesla get to a point where the car can fully drive itself. And I've been in the robo-taxis and stuff, and they're amazing. That's the same thing that I think AI models are doing, is what we're doing, is saying, can we as a community bound together and build a model that will outtrade the average human? I think we can. Many times we've done so. I think we can in the long run. And I think other people can do the same thing in the long run, because it's combined effort and energy and it's combined resources in order to train a model to do something specific. We perp trade. So can we figure out the right moment to do a leverage trade on Bitcoin or Solana or ETH or something else, so we can get a return for the mass majority of our community? There's liquidity in leverage trading, there's opportunity in leverage trading, there's proper risk reward and stuff like that. So I think that's where you look at is, maybe it's not there today, but can it get there over the next 6 months, 12 months? Maybe AI models get better, maybe data feeds get better, things like that. But can it get there, and can we get there together? And if we accomplish that, then every single person in our community wins. We do utility too, and we do teaching and training. But the problem I have with that is it requires you to take action, and pretty severe action. And you have to go and set up Clawbot or set up all these other things and show up to learn and take all that action, where this is a model where if you put a little money in it and you turn it on, it just works for you. And as it gets better and better, just like your Tesla, you get in your Tesla and you put in your navigation and you hit the go button and it just drives you there, and it just keeps getting better and better each and every day.
Yep, good. I can't counter that. I mean, very valid point. Like, it may not be perfect yet. You might be better than the agentic traders today. However, part of the reason that Tesla full self-driving is first in class is because it has millions upon millions of miles that they don't get there if not for those early adopters, right? So same theory here is the agentic traders aren't necessarily going to get there until they get their practice reps in, until they get their, far beyond 10,000 hours in, and get those, you get trained not just in theory but in real practice. And yeah, I mean, it checks out. I like how soon? I don't know. Will they become better than human traders? I believe so. Probably in. I would say this year we're going to see that. We're going to see the average AI agent become like a top 1% trader. I think that will happen. Now, when that happens, what happens with markets if it becomes that easy where you can just say, hey, trading bot, go turn this $1,000 into 10 grand? It's just not that easy. I mean, but if it becomes that super efficient and it becomes the best trader in the world, what does that do to markets? I don't know. Things will change. Joey, we'll get you here in a second. Just looking, we talked in good fun, please don't take it out of context, talking about the PFP nature of NFT PFPs. Pengu's, Pudgies are up 1% of the day to 4.25. Punks flat. Apes up 6% of the day to 6.37. Mutants up 3% to 0.89. Little Pudgies up 4% to 0.52. Banker Club, we talked about that earlier this week. It was 0.4. It's up to 0.95. What happened? What's going on with Banker Club? I know Joey, you did a little bit of research. It launched like well over a year ago, and it's just seen an absolute. There's got to be something there. I'm guessing more than just hype and speculation. Banker is, that chart you shared earlier that BZ broke into the top 10. Banker's number one. You want to talk about AI agents and productive tools? Banker is, shout out to Meta 8 and all the Banker tips, and we do need to get OX Deployer here. Long overdue. We talked about that probably a year ago. And this is also, I think, a good reminder is like sometimes things take time. Banker has been building for, I believe, well over a year now, and it had success early on, and it had a core group of fans. That MFR community was rolling pretty deep and promoting it, and those that were deep on base were big fans. But it really seems to have just as of late here leveled up and really taken off and expanded beyond its core base. So yeah, if anyone is deep in that Banker ecosystem, I don't see Meta 8 out there today, but I will. We'll see if we can get OX Deployer on. If not, we'll at least get Meta 8 on for an update to figure out what are we missing with BankerBot and these Banker Club passes. It's a 0.95. It's up 178% on the day, and these are just there's 1,000 of them on base. I mean, at 0.95 ETH on base, it might be the most expensive NFT on base. The distribution's also, there's 1,000 of the tokens. There's 74% unique owners. There's 742 owners. So very good distribution. Curious. But you look at like these last sales, like 0.09, 0.11, 0.1, like this has been a big W for those that were early or saw this happening and made the move early. Congratulations to those who did. And my ask, if anyone is deep there, let us know. Help me speak a little more. Help us add a little more value in terms of just speculation on the number go up. But Joey, go ahead.
When you guys were talking about like the agent trading, it made me think of Billy Betts and like what Bunchu's building with the betting platform, right? Like the longer and the how much he's been changing it and updating it, and like it's becoming more successful, and how many years has Bunch been building Billy Betts?
Yep.
And it's still not perfect, right? And I mean, it'll never be perfect, right? Because there's humans are involved in sports, but and it's going to take time for it to get to a point to where the win rate is even over 55%, so that way you feel confident in trusting its decisions. So to your point, you guys, it just made me think about that when you guys were talking about the agents trading and how much Bunchu's been building Billy Betts for sports betting.
Yeah, no, very, very good point. I'm not putting pressure on him. I'm not going to say it's going to be next Monday. But I did chat with Bunch this week. It's not, I'm not going to say it's going to be every week, but we are going to bring back a weekly, starting at week, maybe we end up going daily the way things are heading. We are going to bring back a weekly AI segment. Bunch is very busy right now building some big things. He's going to join us when he can. We'll probably at least, what we'll do, Payne, we should kick it off at least with Bunchu first. If he wants to join us every day, he can. But at least we'll kick off the first AI segment with Bunch. to run it back from the good old days. And yeah, the guy, like what they're doing with Billy Bets is really impressive. It's really exciting and it's different. Like they've pivoted and they got something really special that they're building and it's exciting. I actually need to go check. I hold some Billy, but it's not in a primary wallet after that migration. And I actually kind of forgotten about my tokens, but I hold a small bag, but I do hold some Billy token and really excited for their next phase. Joey, did I see a hand or no?
No, my X might be glitching again. It's been acting weird all morning for me.
Yeah, it's been off all week, but I digress. Appreciate y'all powering through X and finding us, and both on the audio spaces as well as the video stream. Again, if you're looking for that, it's pinned up top. The X video is live from the Coffee with Captain account. Does anyone know what? And then we just lost everyone and it reset. Loki's coming up. Does anyone know about Diem? DIEM. One DM gives you $1 of compute on Venice. Speaking of AI, with the explosion of models this week, the price of DM shot from 260 to 466, up 89% on the week. I'm not familiar with DM, but this is we're not going anywhere. But the reality is, not only is crypto changing, AI is growing at an insane clip, and a lot of it is happening on chain. So we're not going to full port into an AI show, but we talk about it. You know, as news items hit throughout the week. There's enough happening right now. We can easily justify a once a week segment, maybe more. But this is sort of stuff. And not always. Like if there's some new model update or something, I'm sure we'll hit on that. But the idea of this new segment will be primarily AI on chain. What are these agents doing on chain? What are these crypto native protocols doing? And yeah, if that's a particular passion of anyone, let us know. And like I said, Bunchy doesn't have time to join us, I don't think, every week. But so we'll be looking for some guest speakers on the AI front as well. Loki GM, are you coming up and telling me we shouldn't bring back PvP and NFTs, or are you for the PvP nature of NFTs and having some fun with it?
Hey, GM Captain. Yes, I saw you changing the title and the NFT signal light up in the sky.
It's a
Here
bat
I
signal
am.
for Loki. Welcome. Appreciate you popping up. Always a pleasure. What's your thoughts? Am I out of line saying we need to bring back PvP, a little bit of PvP in the NFT world?
I mean, if we're talking about healthy competition, yes, of course, let's welcome that. So let's push teams for achieving greatness. So nothing against that. Sometimes I read like very idiotic takes on the timeline, but I guess tweeting is free, so we cannot stop. We cannot stop that.
Also, regarding tweeting, I saw some takes. Sorry to interject. You just made me think. I saw some doomer takes that, oh, it's over, crypto's over. X. The terms and conditions that are floating around, I don't believe that's new. That's been out there for a long time. And I guess if you're concerned about it, don't be doing a unpaid promotion or a paid promotion doing hashtag $ fill in the token. They don't want you shilling tokens or financial. It's not just tokens, it's gambling. Like all that stuff has been around for a while. I don't know. Maybe they plan to enforce it, but I would be shocked if we see any real changes there. It was more a doomer post of capturing some T's and C's that have been in existence for as long as I think Twitter has been around, or at least close to it. But go ahead. Sorry for the interjection. You just made me think about that.
No, it's fine. Yeah, I read that post. They say it's just a bait. Those guidelines were already out from 2024. So
Yep.
All good, right? No, I think we really improve in the space. Majority of holders and market participants, they don't feel the need of PFP. We read like few bad takes, but they don't define the order base. So I'm not worried on that side. But if you think about the whole crypto market, the whole sentiment, it's pretty bad. So it's also normal to have overreactions, to have some people are angry, or demanding more for teams because they are down bad, because you cannot really you are not really living good with your emotion, your situation. But if you have to compare with the crypto market, actually we are doing well. I mean, crypto, we never see such a drop, such a crash in the market, especially thinking the other assets are going up. And the NFT market is doing comparatively well, right? I mean, we had a slightly bounce after the crash. So my vision on that, I mean, I'm bullish. If you think about it, there are like 2 million tokens. People don't know what our tokens are for, governance, meme coins, whatever. But we have like a bunch of good NFT projects, 10, 20, 30. So the supply is limited. And I think people, they want to invest money, or they want to be part of crypto, part of some journey, part of some good teams and crypto company. They actually, I think in the last 2 weeks, they may have entered NFT communities because it was a juicy opportunity. I mean, in USD price, it was kind of cheap, right?
Yes, correct. You know, we talked about sorry, I got distracted because I pulled up Death Star and I wasn't aware. The current vote ends in 5 minutes. So speaking of NFTs, right now the current target is Doodles. Sorry for the quick hard pivot, but the voting ends in 5 seconds here, or 5 minutes rather. And current target is Doodles. I knew that was a leading vote. I missed that the time is moving fast. Can't believe 3 days has already flown by. Worth noting, Doodles up 10% on the day, 0.48 floor price. I'm trying to look at the week. So, and very interesting to me that these Death Star targets are, I think Moonbird's even finished up a little bit in floor price. Doodles looks to be up in floor price. Mutants are next, seemingly. Mutants have 79% of the vote now, so it'd be unlikely. The options were Doodles again, Mutants, Azuki, Little Pudgies, and Nakamigos. Yeah, interesting. I'm not sure. I haven't paid attention to Death Star volume or anything. The market cap is about half a million, and but a good chunk, 20, 22, 23% of that burned. To your point, floors are up, native token down, ETH down. You know, I was going to show this. I saw this from Rita this morning. While I said, you know, Ape Chain is other side, and it certainly is. NFTs over there are crushing it. Like, you don't see any KOLs talking about this, but this is a 30-day chart. You talk about first of the year, not just what apes have done. Most of these are up 90 to several 100% since first of the year. And now, is it a ton of volume? No. Is ape down? Yes. But it's better to see the token price up when the underlying token is down than both of them down at the same time, which we did see for a while. I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. I vividly remember in 21 during the NFT crazy mania, majors were getting crushed. Bitcoin was down, ETH was down. There was some major drawbacks, major drawdowns, pullbacks, and it didn't. Everyone was so distracted because NFTs were just popping off. Not saying that exactly happens again, but it does for as bad as, for fear and greed being at 5 and 8, and really, like, people thinking the world is ending, Bitcoin's over, we're all going to zero. You hear a lot of doom. You don't see many people talking about the NFT performance since the first of the year. And yes, US dollars, it's not up as much as it is in with the token denomination, whether it's ETH or APE or whatever. But some of these are performing really well. And it's not just those from 21, 22. We continue to talk about Good Vibes Club, and they continue to have success. You look at, on a smaller scale, but netizens that just minted on Mega ETH is still up 2x from mint price. And there's I can't remember why I can never remember the name, but the other free mint that went off the other day is up. I think it's still trading, over $1,000 There is some momentum, there is some excitement. I still think if you want it more than just short-term speculation or price pumps that don't last or aren't sustainable, bring back some utility, bring back some fun, lighthearted nature of PvP, friendly competition, push each other to how can we drive more value? How can if there's 10,000 buyers of an NFT, 10,000 users active in the space that are looking to make their next NFT purchase, why should they buy yours over someone else's? Maybe it's just art, maybe it's just provenance, maybe it's just digital identity. Give them a reason. And why I think this is important is not only give them a reason, like if AI agents ever start getting into NFT PFPs and rocking that as their identity, some do already, but if it ever takes off at scale, what's being said, like their training data is going to be what's on the timeline, what people are talking about. And I don't know as if an AI agent is going to buy an NFT because of the community, or maybe I don't think they're going to be buying it because of art. I think they're going to be buying it because they can do math and make financial sense of why it might make sense to rock this as my identity. I don't know, Loki. Thoughts on AI agents? Are they gonna save our NFT bags? Are they gonna lead us to the next NFT boom?
Oh, I hope. I remember that the narrative back in last year when we had the AI tokens. I think it was Zerbro buying NFT, or actually no, launching his own collection, right? So yeah, I remember the narrative. I mean, well, it's not my field, but it kind of makes sense in a world where there are millions of agents and they want to be different. So somebody gotta train them on how to flex. They gotta show them why it's important. And yeah, then we gotta run. But I think overall, like, humans are enough for what we got here, especially the crypto market. So that's how I see NFT brands succeeding in selling or raising floor price. I mean, we have a very wealthy crypto participants more than the normies. So I just feel like you don't really need to push for adoption. That will come anyway. You already have a market here that needs to be involved, because if you think about it, we are just like 1% of the total crypto market. So you have 90% of people, they don't fuck with NFTs, but they already know how to if they want it. They just need to perceive the need of it.
Yeah, I mean, I also agree that it doesn't, like, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. It doesn't need to be the focus. I also think there's something there. Maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong before, but I obviously going to keep paying attention to the AI mania and all that's happening on chain, and it's probably not going to be NFT PFPs, but I do feel pretty confident that there is going to be some meta in crypto where there's an opportunity to capitalize on this intersection of AI and crypto. If you see something, ping me, let me know. If you know anyone in the space, anyone else that's building on chain, especially those that are from or we just lost the space. 1 second. It's been a minute. I just fired it back up. If you were on the audio space, we just lost it. We will be right back. Take 2, Coffee with Captain. Haven't said that for a while. Space is rugged. Coffee with Captain number 1096. It's a Friday. Spaces heard I was giving it a hard time over the video feed discoverability. So I said, you know what? We haven't rugged you for a minute. Take this. Enjoy a good old fashioned rugging. See how quick you can move on your feet. YouTube does reign supreme. That's the alpha. YouTube's never rugged us once. If you want to make sure you're always dialed in, head over to YouTube, hit the sub button, and join us over there. I don't even know what to say. Like I was complaining about, it's karma, I guess. I was complaining about X most of the week and X spaces and X video spaces, and I jinxed it. I jinxed it by talking bad about X. And although Nikita did come out yesterday and said there's 30 employees at X. So the one that was responsible for keeping audio spaces on from the 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock hour, they must have took a coffee break or went to the bathroom or something, and we lost it. So I'm gonna stop venting and stop complaining about X. I'm grateful for the platform. I'm grateful for the following here, but boy, can it be frustrating at times. Appreciate y'all finding us again. Let's do this. I'm gonna play a quick coffee break. We'll give it a few minutes to warm up for those that are looking for the space. Hopefully they can find it. Hopefully it is not as bad as discoverability on the video spaces. Hopefully people can go to my profile and actually see the audio spaces. I'm pinning it up top as well. Appreciate everyone who's already reposted it. And we got like a half hour left. We may not go the full half hour here. It's a Friday. Every time I say that, though, we end up going like a half hour long. But let me do this. Let me play a quick coffee break. We'll give the room, I don't know, a minute and 12 seconds, I think, to warm back up. And then we would jump right back into the conversation, as well as a few other news items. I mentioned the CPI print. I'll flash that real quick. Not only did it come in below expectations, but it is the lowest, core CPI, its lowest level since 2021. Very, very interesting. Combine that with some of the other macro reports. I don't know. I remain optimistic. I remain bullish on we still get a good run in 2026, like in the not too distant future. That said, I also know there is still, the chart we shared earlier this week, global uncertainty at its all-time high. That is no joke. Appreciate y'all helping us warm this thing back up. I'm going to play the coffee break, and we'll be right back. We'll get things rolling. We got a minute and 22 seconds. Thank you all. Appreciate the warming up the room. Those, even if you don't want to repost it, you already reposted earlier. The comments down below. If you know someone that's building in the NFT PFP space with AI, doing agentic things on chain, let us know. Tag them. If not today, we'd like to get them on in a future show, and we'll be back. We'll get things rolling here for the home stretch in a minute and 22 seconds. Welcome back to Coffee with Captain. Appreciate y'all hanging out. Appreciate everyone who helped us warm things back up after the unkind spaces rugging, but we power through. Everyone, yes, YouTube for the win. That's why we need y'all to sub to YouTube, so no more rug pull on spaces. And if the T's and C's from 2024 actually get enforced someday, we may have to hard pivot off of X. We might be forced to hard pivot off of X. I kid. I really don't think that's going to happen, but would be great if we could just full pour all of you over to YouTube, because it is, for many reasons, they seem to be much more supportive of creators, and like I said, they don't rug us mid show. Kid, no more complaints on. I'm not complaining. It's Friday. Grateful to be here and appreciate each and every one of you. So I will not, may not even mention X Spaces again the rest of the show. Coffee break music is a vibe. Shout out to Payne. He's a legend, and excited to show off a little more Payne's talents in the near future. We did have, I think I shared yesterday, had a great, we went into, after the show, went into a sponsor meeting. Really excited about that one. Probably be end of month. I think we'll kick that thing off, and more coming soon. But with that, there are more jingles loading. I'll just say that jingles are loading. So for all of you jingle fans, if you like that coffee break music, stay tuned. More on the way. Loki, appreciate you jumping back up. I lost my train of thought when we got rubbed. Feel free to finish a thought, take it whichever direction you want. But yeah, thanks for hanging.
No, yeah, man. I wanted to touch on one post I saw you share, like the correlation Bored Ape and Pudgy. I mean, we've seen them for 2 years already. They keep switching, they keep like flipping each other, and that's great. I mean, it's great that one push each other. CryptoPunks push the market, and then Bored Ape, and then Pudgy. Sometimes it's a trading opportunity, and then the rest of the other top collections. So that's a good thing. Right now, there's a whale that's trying to sell like 100 Pudgy.
Oh, interesting. Is
Yep.
that?
Yep, it still has. So he has like a couple listed. Sometimes he dumps. So I think it was 4 or 5 days ago he dumped a lot, and somebody got a Pudgy for 3.5. So he still hasn't finished unloading, and that's why there is this big spread now, which I personally think it's a trading opportunity. But overall, what I encourage all the people in NFTs is to be open minded, because a lot of times we read takes like, oh, my collection is doing this, so this is the right way to do. Your collection is not doing this, is doing in another way, so you guys suck, or your guys are distracting, or blah blah blah. I encourage to be part of each NFT community, at least like the top ones, to be open minded, to see how these teams are achieving each goals differently. I mean, everybody has different strategy, different goals, so it doesn't have to be one playbook.
Yep.
And we've seen this, right? They are the one launching a meme coin. They are the one launching a strategy. They are the ones having other side, whole metaverse. They are the one doing IP proliferation. So very, very different strategies. Doesn't have to be the same, and that's great. Overall, it's great. But yeah, so your point when you said we need utility. I mean, utility, yes, of course, it's good, but it can never really satisfy everyone. So that's the thing. Until it lasts, we saw before like airdrop, or you get some tokens from some other project, but then when it's over, everybody will dump. So that's the problem with utility. It's just like a short-term patch. I personally think still today, the only really utility that makes everybody happy at the same time is floor price. So this is really the basic rule, especially for the more expensive NFTs. So utility, status, floor price, and it's kind of great, because even if in a low volume environment, people don't need to sell to satisfy this utility. They just see a number on their display and they're happy with it. And maybe they don't feel stupid, because like think about the GVC holder, right? They feel fucking smart.
Mm-hmm.
They've been up all the time, so they are the most genius NFT traders and community in the world right now. But if you are down 90%, you feel a fucking idiot. So that's why also we read like people angry, blah blah. So yeah, that's my view on utility for NFTs right now. But what's happening in the ape chain, actually, that's a good point to your case of utility. So They are doing great things with community. They're providing a platform. That's why we see this more collection. They are cheap in USD price, but they are doing well, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's really working. It's really working great over there.
And I think sometimes, well, floor price is the agreed upon metric. It's the one that I think also maybe resetting expectations there. Like we talked about netizens was a 0.3 mint. The other art one was a free mint. A lot of these ape chain mints are free or very low cost, and it's, I think starting from a lower entry point and grinding up. Good Vibes Club minute at 0.069 seemed like a big minute price at that time, but it's great art. They put years of work into it, and it's seemingly been almost up only. I know there's been pullbacks, but if you zoom out, it's been up only since mint as they approach their 1 year anniversary. A couple of other related yet also unrelated at the same time, but we couldn't talk about NFTs and not mention Ethereum, where the meta began. Breaking news just out, or at least I just saw it. One of the co-executive directors is stepping down at the end of February. I'm not sure what that means. I'm not sure the impact, but in the letter here, stepping down in my role as co-executive director at the Ethereum Foundation, Bastian Ao is taking over the co-executive role alongside, I can't pronounce these names, Hawaii Sway. Future looks bright for builders on Ethereum, for Ethereum Foundation and me. As competing ideas emerge and fail, the markets jump up and down. We've never been given too much certainty. The conviction about Ethereum that comes deep from an understanding of its technology, its governance, its meaning for the future, its values we share will always make us converge intermittently, even when our curiosities drive our explorations very far from canonical paths. I'm just trying to skim this without having to read the whole thing. Open source LLM models are not doing badly and will hopefully do better and better. Open source agentic workers are becoming the most exciting toys for builders and creators since early Ethereum. Important privacy and security questions emerge around the new paradigms. The world is changing fast, and among the changes, Ethereum is becoming the underlying infrastructure for verification and financial transactions. The cypherpunk ethos of Ethereum remains intact, with the best of privacy builders and security experts ensuring that the network helps people preserve privacy and access to essential infrastructure. A lot of talk about privacy for a while. More talk coming out of Ethereum lately. And so as you look at, you have to read between the lines. Like you just read the words that Vitalik and this co-executive director is stepping down and say, it's privacy, it's the agentic layer, and I don't know exactly what that means for opportunity, as I said, but I do believe something there. And it's not just Ethereum. Obviously, you're going to see agents on a lot of chains, but I think it is it's telling when you see what's coming from the top, even those that are departing. Also of note, since we're talking Ethereum. Actually, no. Let me hit a couple of other. It's from Bitcoin news, but it's not even Bitcoin related. I shared it earlier, so I will at least cover it. Just the headline: Netherlands House passed a 36% tax on unrealized gains. Pretty wild. Be interesting to see if we see this take place in more, more nation states, more states. Not great. Doesn't feel great, but doesn't impact me directly today. So we'll fly over it. If anyone has a deeper thought or deeper conversation here, let us know. And then what could impact us, those of us here living in the States, is it appears imminent that the government will shut down tomorrow. Kalshi's now pegging it at an 89% chance. I'm guessing Polymarket's about the same. I haven't double checked, but I will go over there next. I share all that because, global uncertainty, all-time high. You got U.S. government imminent shutdown imminent. You got everything going on with the Epstein files, and what does that mean? There's just a lot of overall, not just for crypto, for all markets. You got a lot of headwinds right now. And it's really not anything one thing specific. It's just so much uncertainty before we even talk about AI disrupting almost every industry on the planet. Fear and greed is still extreme fear, all-time lows. Not all time, but it's popped up from the all-time low. I do think now is an incredible time to be a builder. I also think now is really the time to be paying attention because it could be a violent move back. I don't know what creates more certainty in the world. I don't think even if the government doesn't shut down or they come back from a shutdown, I'm not saying that by itself changes things. Maybe things get worse before they get better, but I do think even today, there's pockets of opportunity. There's ways to make money in this space. And I think we're close to some of these dots connecting. In particular, what I keep coming back to is how can we capitalize on this intersection of AI meets blockchain tech? Where do those opportunities lie? And I'm going to continue to scan for them. And I think that is very possible, if not likely, that we see some major opportunities on that front. I mean, they exist today. Like Banker is a perfect example of one that's been humming, and anyone who really that's done very well. I don't think it's the last. I think we're going to see a lot more of agentic solutions on chain, and I think there'll be ways to monetize, capitalize on those opportunities. Husker GM, always a pleasure. What brought you up this morning?
Hey, GM Cap, always good to talk to you. Same with Loki. Just wanted to just make sure everyone knows that it's just a partial, most partial government shutdown. I believe is only the Department of Homeland Security that's shutting down tomorrow.
Shout out to Mike C. Mike C in the chat just said the same thing. Only DHC is shutting down, but that does affect travel. So yeah, thank you for clarifying.
100%, yeah.
Anything I guess to add that? I just wanted to correct my.
I just wanted to make sure people aren't thinking oh my God, the government's shutting down. It'll be a complete shit show like last time. Mm-hmm. But on the other side, I do agree with you on hey, get out there, learn how to do this AI stuff. 1000X podcast actually had a really good one yesterday about hey, make yourself indispensable, learn this AI stuff. Literally, I'm taking the day off work right now and I'm literally setting up a Raspberry Pi, literally having Claude Code do it. So that the Raspberry Pi can basically have a server on itself that basically I'm just going to let my Claude bot or OpenClaw bot basically go ham with.
What? It's awesome, exciting. You'll have to give us the update next week after you get that set up. I guess 2 questions. One, why Raspberry Pi over the Mac Mini or other hardware? Was it just a cost? Have you used a Raspberry Pi in the past? Why Raspberry Pi? And then what's the first thing you're excited to build, or are you just going to explore? Do you have anything that I'm going to go, I did it because I'm going to go do this?
So I actually did buy a Mac Mini for the OpenClaw. So the OpenClaw is going to lives on the Mac Mini. But I've been listening and reading a lot of stuff from Legendary. He seems to be kind of one of the thought leaders on OpenClaw deployment. And one of the things he recommended was deploying a tool called Zulip instead of using Telegram. I think it's a little bit more safe or secure, quite honestly, because the server lives on the Raspberry Pi is where it's going to live at.
Okay.
So that's why I'm doing that. And then also I'm probably going to host local websites and stuff like that, dashboards that OpenClaw or Claude Code build for me.
Awesome. I love to hear it. Do you have a link to Zulip? That's big fan of Legendary. First time hearing that one specifically. Zulip like a tulip with a Z?
Yeah, it's Zebra, Uniform, Lima, India, Papa. And it's a server that you can just host on your own if you want. You can also do a desktop, but just when I had when I had Claude do some research, it recommended running the server yourself. So went out, spent another $200 on a Raspberry Pi and seeing how it goes. It did not go well yesterday. It almost bricked the Raspberry Pi, so I had to take it out, do a whole lot of reinstalls and stuff like that. But glad to say we have recovered so far to this morning.
Congrats. For those asking and are maybe not familiar with the Raspberry Pi, can you TLDR, what is a Raspberry Pi?
Yeah, Raspberry Pi is just it is a bare minimum computer. It usually can either run on its own operating system, Raspberry Pi OS, or I'm flashing Ubuntu. I'm probably saying that word wrong, but it doesn't have it literally fits in the size of your hand. So it's about as small as you can. And a lot of times it doesn't even come with a case. It literally is just a USB port, an Ethernet port, and the computer, the compute itself.
Yep, just a board. Yeah, the ones I've seen, it's just, I guess you could build a case. I'm sure some people 3D print them. You could probably buy a case, but yeah, most of the time it's just a board with ports and really, when you say stripped down bare bones computer, but great for this sort of stuff. And whether if you are, especially if you're new and you're experimenting and you're learning, please learn on a segregated machine, Mac Mini, Raspberry Pi, something that's not your primary, an old. I don't know if you can run them on Chromebooks or not. Probably not. Do you know?
I don't know if it works on a Chromebook. Like I said, I'm on a Mac Mini and Raspberry Pi, or you can also do like on a VPS if you want to do a VPS. I can't remember what that, like virtual private server or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's another option, but I think you might need. I personally think running it on a VPS might be harder than just, if you have the money to buy a Mac Mini. I just say like, hey, please be secure with that stuff. Like this can absolutely wreck you if you're not careful.
And this is also, sorry, I didn't mean to turn on. Was going to another tab and I turned on some background music. Now I need to figure out how I can turn it off.
Personally, it sounds very calming, quite honestly. Okay. Sound like some birds in the background.
Yeah, but there is some birds actually. We'll leave it on. I'll see. We'll give a quick love here. This is Hunter Tales, one of the games on Mega ETH. You can kind of see here, little world, and you can go. You mint some hunters, send the hunters out. I just created my account before the show this morning, so I haven't even got to play around. But one of the other new Mega ETH games, capturing a little bit, driving a little bit of buzz and attention. But my first feedback to them is I don't see. There we go. Mute. Found it. We're good. Never mind. User error. So home stretch here. A couple other things, and Husker. Sorry, Husker. Husker, Loki, if you have any thoughts or comments on any of these, feel free to join the conversation, or if anyone else in the chat has questions, comments, thoughts as we enter the home stretch here. I mentioned our first headline before we got rugged was speaking of Mega ETH TVL exceeding 100 million. They are, it's a cheat code when you're talking the last month because they just launched, but Bridge TVL up over 100 million now, 114 million, 92 million of that is in stable coins, and 50, 59, 60 million in DeFi. So for a non-farmed start, I think pretty impressive. There's no yet anyways, you're not earning Mega ETH, or maybe some of those platforms are providing points and stuff, but still very early in their launch process, and I'm excited to see some more of these dApps come on. There's a few things like that. Hunter's Tale. We talked about Survivors, which is some unique mint mechanics, and I remain optimistic. We'll see some new novel things on chain, potentially in the Agentic world. So if anything catches your attention over the weekend, please feel free to share, and we will come back to that on Monday. The other last final headline I had, well, we hit on Zeke cards earlier. If anyone's still looking for an invite, I've passed a few of those out during the show, and have a few more. But I must have closed my tab. I'll see if I can go find it here. But not a great one, I guess, for Friday the 13th. Maybe fitting. But just a reminder to be safe. Another PSA. Binance's CEO, I think, in France. I'm trying to find the actual link. I had it pulled up, and when we got rugged, I kind of scrambled, and I must have inadvertently closed the link. The Binance France CEO was targeted in a homejacking. I don't know how many that makes this year, and they're not all in France, but I know what we're talking. We're talking about like Macro and the Epstein files and this Guthrie Bitcoin ransom. I think that is, like, I haven't been following it closely. It's wild to me that I've heard. This is the first time I think I've even mentioned the Guthrie Bitcoin ransom on this show. It's been going on all week. I haven't seen it hardly at all on crypto Twitter. Some headlines, people maybe reposting or talk, but I haven't really heard anyone talk about it other than my normie friends. Like, my normie friends are talking about, like, it's in mainstream media, It's like $1 million. And I'm not trying to be insensitive. I'm not trying to downplay. It's very serious. I really feel for someone but help me understand why, with everything else going on in the world right now, national media, apparently from all channels, is talking about someone that's been kidnapped for the entire week. How is that a national? I mean, I just probably sounds like a really insensitive jerk here. It seems, conspiracies with Cap. That's our closing Friday segment. It seems psyopish. It seems like, hey, look here. Don't look at this thing. Look over here at this Bitcoin ransom. It's like I've seen a little bit of talk about it in our Discord chat, mostly, but yet I've got normie friends who are really invested in this story. And it's like, but why? Maybe I'm the naive, ignorant one. I don't know. It seems odd that that's getting so much coverage. But to that tune of this Binance France CEO being targeted, he's safe. But the story, three masked attackers entered a residential building looking for the CEO. This is Binance France CEO. He wasn't home, so they fled, taking 2 phones. Later the same day, the same group tried in another location, but law enforcement tracked them via surveillance and arrested them. The incident shows how crypto executives are becoming targets due to their wealth and how quickly authorities acted to prevent harm. Also, France just seems extremely unsafe right now in crypto. But please, the PSA, Friday PSA reminder. Don't be flexing your wealth on chain, and don't store your wealth at home. Have safety procedures. Have OPSEC, not just, hey, don't use a hot wallet with your stuff you have assets in. Funny, Katie, I said no one's talking about it. Katie literally just posted minutes ago, what do you think happened to Savannah Guthrie's mother? Am I wrong in thinking that it's a little weird that it's being made such a big deal? And why a Bitcoin ransom today's age? Like it is trackable. Like I don't know. I haven't, to me, it was like kind of like I don't want to say a non-issue or non-news item, and feel for the family. I feel for her. Husker, do you have a take on the whole Guthrie situation or?
Yeah, I do. I will say, part of me agrees with you, but I will say, I do think, these famous people kidnapping, capturing headlines is kind of already in our national psyche. Literally go back to the Lindbergh baby being kidnapped back in, what was that, 1938 or something like that? It's literally still talked about today. So I do think, to a certain extent, it is part of, I don't know why, but that's kind of always been the case of, when famous people get kidnapped, it always happens. But I wouldn't be surprised if there is some hush hush, cover up the Epstein, get people focused on something else. But also, I'm not sure if anyone's tracking, is anyone tracking the scary shit going on with Ring doorbells right now?
Yeah, that was actually the last thing I had on a flyover. I was going to tie it together with AI. Also, this is how much I've not been paying attention and how much I don't watch mainstream news, or I didn't realize that Savannah Guthrie is the co-anchor of the Today Show. That makes a little more sense. I knew there was something there. I just thought it was someone that was a wealthy individual and their mother got kidnapped. Makes a little more sense that it's a media personality's mother. Still, something just seems off. My spidey sense just tell me it's off. It's probably just a Cap conspiracy moment, and it's really a tragic situation, but something seems off. And both these things could be true. It could be a really tragic situation, and it could also be something that some of the mainstream media outlets decide, hey, we got something else we can talk about and highlight this week, so we don't have to talk about that other thing that people are apparently uncomfortable talking about. Ginger Beloved agrees, says the whole thing with Nancy Guthrie feels off. I probably self-admittedly there exposing myself, probably should do a little more research, because I just discovered right now, 30 seconds ago, that it is the it's a media personality. But yeah, to your point, Husker, the most recent thing. So if you missed it, Ring Doorbell had a Super Bowl commercial, and in the Super Bowl commercial, they announced a we can help you find your lost dogs. It was a commercial. It was like a try to touch, tap into the, the emotions of individuals. If you ever lost a dog, it can be scary. They said, well, we've got, we just kicked this off. We've been helping track down one dog a day. And I didn't even really think much of it. I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. I don't use Ring. I don't have a Ring doorbell. But my brain actually thought, maybe that's a reason to switch back to Ring in case I ever lose my dog. Because you have to be about now. And then almost immediately, like during the Super Bowl, you started seeing like, yeah, right. They're using this to search for dogs. Like they very clearly have AI that has facial recognition in this thing. And basically you're giving free surveillance. You got a company, Amazon owns Ring, by the way, that's got millions of these things out in the wild. The users are buying the hardware. They're paying a monthly subscription. And it helped Amazon and Ring deploy a national facial recognition security network. I don't think this is a conspiracy. I think it's just very real. It is what it is. Now, are they using it for evil? I don't know. I'm not claiming that. I'm not, at least not yet. I don't think they are, but the fallout has been extreme. The fallout has been so extreme that probably, some are saying it's the most expensive Super Bowl commercial of all time. Super Bowl commercials are expensive to begin with, $5 to $10 million a pop. I think like 7 or 8 is maybe more precise for a 30-minute slot or 30-second slot. And this one led to unsubscriptions. It led to Ring just canceled their partnership with Flock. Flock was I think Flock was the company they partner with for this surveillance. So following the mounting pressure and the questionable Super Bowl ad, the Amazon-owned company walked back its plan to integrate with the controversial law enforcement technology company. So Flock is a law enforcement technology company that they'd partner with to help find dogs. Yeah, wink, wink. But now, should you trust Ring now? No. After all, they thought this was a good idea, but it shows that the pressure works. Be the backlash against surveillance that you want to see in the world. Voice your disgust over surveillance grabs and show it by canceling subscription and tossing devices. I don't know. Again, unpopular take, contrarian take. Like, do I want surveillance in my home and knowing every step? No, not particularly. Does it bother me if there's surveillance on the streets? I'm the naive one, but it doesn't really bother me. If because I believe it's there already. I believe they already have this, like from traffic light cameras and so many other things. Now, is this taking it to another level? Sure. I just, who knows? I get this could lead to a really dystopian future. It could be really bad stuff. Americans want more privacy, not less. I agree. Privacy is important. In my home, it's very important. Do I care if my neighborhood's surveilled? Not really. In fact, I probably ensure that it's safe. People are less likely to break into my home if they know the whole neighborhood's surveilled. Am I suspicious of big tech companies encroaching into my personal lives? Yes. Do I also have, I'll have to add up dozens of cameras in my home today? Yeah. And not just security. Like my robot vacuum cleaner's got, 4 or 5 cameras in it. Like if they really wanted to, they could hack into my home and see what I do today based off my robot vacuum cleaner. Should I put blind faith and trust in these large, big corporations? No, and I don't. But I'm not like as worried or weirded out about outdoor surveillance like some are. People call it a China-like surveillance camera net. And I know if especially I understand if it's like, oh, this is like a bait and switch, or they're trying to spin off nationwide surveillance as, oh, you can help find your dog. Is that a bad move? I get that backlash. I'm just saying, like, personally, I believe that most of the outdoors is surveilled. Not everywhere, but certainly in high populated areas, cities and stuff. It's like it's either surveilled 24/7 or they have the ability to do so almost whenever they want. So it's not that deep for me. And I also can see good coming from outdoor surveillance while fully appreciating and wanting privacy in my own home. Husker, thanks for bringing this up. That was the last thing I wanted to hit on. How do you net out on this? And am I crazy for not being overly concerned with outdoor video surveillance?
I don't think you're overly crazy, but I guess I don't necessarily agree with you either. Like, I am concerned with the flock stuff just because, and like granted, I saw this online, so take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt. But what I have seen is essentially these flock cameras are like basically have some of the worst security like possible. Like literally, the cameras are basically just left wide open, and it's actually been proven, at least again by YouTubers, that you can stalk somebody using like their AI to like basically read license plates, follow where people are going. So I would be probably more okay with it if this was actually using best security practices, and also if it was locked down behind something to where like law enforcement would have to go and get a warrant to get the video feed. Essentially, I think that's part of our Constitution is a right to privacy, and like mass surveillance. I don't think we should just accept, but I am okay with the surveillance as long as there's precautions against it, I guess.
Fair. And others in the chat, Ruck Up Your Hands adds flock is weak. They have to be E to E, not so hard to hack. Couple tools, and you can do a lot. They're not illegal. No password is bad flock. The Epic guys, it depends on who controls the cameras. And agree with everything everyone said. Like, yes, is this a slippery slope? Could this lead to a dystopian future? Yes, absolutely. They need to be better. It needs to be like, do I expect at least outdoors in public massive surveillance in the future? I expect it's going to happen. I hope it happens in a safe manner and people can't hack into it. And I think probably part of the issue here with this, if I'm not is like, that's so close to the home. And even though it's like maybe it's your outdoor camera, there's other Ring products that are indoors, and one person hacks in, next thing you know, they've got access to all your entire private life. So yeah, it does need to be safe. It does need, the who's controlling these cameras is important. And often I think the other thing to agree with you all on is Amazon might be trusted, Ring might be trusted, and they're kind of, consumers, often the unbeknownst user, myself, might be conveying that same level of trust to a third party, unbeknownst to me, unbeknownst to the user. Oh, I trust Amazon. They're going to protect they're not going to let someone hack into this. Amazon's not going to, get into my private life. I don't have the same level of trust for Flock, who's not Amazon. And that's, I think, maybe part of the issue here. But Otis says, speaking of outdoor surveillance, Kensington, PA live cams on YouTube are wild. Kensington is that like that's like the fentanyl capital of PA? Is that right? I think Kensington's a pretty rough area. I apologize if I'm wrong there. Maida says, we just need people to stop being bad people, so we don't need cameras. Yeah. He also said no one pays attention to the notifications. Now that was just a Super Bowl. Now that it was a Super Bowl commercial, it's an issue. That's also part of it. Like, it wasn't, they had launched it previously. You talk about marketing and PR and bad marketing and bad comms. Like, they highlighted something that obviously was not popular, was not well received. I wonder what the outcome is if they just don't do the Super Bowl commercial. They just continue they roll it out. Their customers like, hey, this is now an option. You lose your dog. Like, oh, I lost my dog. Ring's going to help me track it down. By calling attention to it and putting it under the microscope, it blew it up faster than I'm guessing they expect. Obviously, they didn't expect this outcome. They wouldn't ran the Super Bowl commercial if they did. Otis adds like a modern day red asphalt. Go ahead, Husker.
Yeah, 2 points. First, I think what you're talking about is like they said the quiet part out loud. Mm-hmm. Like they shouldn't have said that, but they did. The other part, I was just going to tying this all back to the Guthrie case. Like, Ring says that we found out is that her mom didn't have an active subscription to Ring, which is also showing that like Ring can actually, even if you don't have a subscription, is still using that as a surveillance tool. And the second part was they say that they only keep like photos or videos for like 3 hours, but they pulled this like way after the fact. So just some other reasons to be concerned, I would say. Maybe not freak out level, but definitely, at least I was concerned.
Yeah. Yeah, what a in hindsight, what a really an interesting Super Bowl this year from many fronts. Not the game. Everything else was interesting though. Shout out Rock Paper Hands for the Pengu tip. Greatly appreciated that. Hopefully someday I can load that up into a Pengu card and buy you a coffee with it. Nobody is thanking Ring for snitching on themselves. And our guy Steve in the, I hope he doesn't mind me sharing, in the War Room chat says, yeah, I actually said this at the time. This was in reference to this Ring blow up, and it's got to be one of the biggest cell phones in advertising history. Thanks for sharing this, Payne. This was actually the one I saw earlier and was looking for. And producer Payne doing me a solid. Didn't even realize he was doing it for me. This is going to be one of the biggest cell phones in advertising history. You literally spend millions of dollars for a 30-second Super Bowl ad to tell everyone you're spying on them, immediately destroying your brand reputation and upending your business model. Ring is owned by Amazon. I'm guessing it's not a separate subsidiary. There's not could impact Amazon stock, but I don't think Ring has its own. I think it's just wholly owned subsidiary, if I'm not mistaken. And Steve commented on that and said, yeah, everyone on CT was bashing Coinbase for their ad regular consumers liked. I saw this one and thought, okay, so you're making me think about losing my dog and then telling me you spy on us to find it. Got it. Yeah. Not great. And this is courtesy of Fauna, kind of rapid fire and lightning round here to close things out. It's talked about a random wallet. You could go open up a random wallet with $134 and grow it to 56,000 in the matter of a day by trading 5-minute crypto charts. Good luck. That's not the average normal outcome. Von Frunton, what did I say where you're asking really, Cap? Really? What are we talking about now? The Guthrie thing? Me not knowing about Guthrie? Yeah, I do not keep up with the competition. And I had no idea that I don't necessarily consider myself competing with the Today Show host, but it's more than a wealthy person. It's a prominent media personality or media employers using media reach to help keep awareness high. I'm sure if she wanted to help them shut up about it, they would. It's fair. I get it all. It makes sense. I get it now. I didn't realize she was a media personality. I just kept seeing Nancy Guthrie. I'm like, someone's mom, the headlines I saw was someone's wealthy mom got kidnapped. My friends who were talking about it, none of them said it was a Today Show host. So it's my bad. I hadn't researched it. Makes more sense now. And if they only had Ring subscription turned on, they would have made. I kid. I'm not trying to make jokes or make light of the situation. My apologies. Anyways, good show today. Appreciate everyone who powered through the rugging. Feels kind of good to be rugged. We're back. We're fully back. That might have been the bottom signal. Things were ripping when getting rugged happened on a regular basis here. So that might very well been the bottom signal we needed. On the other side of this, Psycho Kitty adds, I love the Ring app. And it rescued this beautiful puppy boy from being euthanized thanks to Ring. So I'm connecting some dots here, but I take it as this was her dog got loose, and it was, and it got, maybe didn't have identification or whatever, got put in a shelter, apparently like a kill shelter, and because Ring was able to track it down. So again, I know this is a contrarian, it's a bad take. I see, like I said, I see the value in having outdoor surveillance to protect a neighborhood and to prevent crime. I don't want my personal privacy to be encroached upon, but I have dogs. I've had dogs get loose before. I had, it's a stressful moment. Like, I've spent hours looking for a dog or a cat, and I wish there was a better way to do it where it wasn't. I think part of it is, like you said, the third party, how it was rolled out, and not saying I want massive surveillance, but it's like a neighborhood watch app in a sense. People in my area can post lots of pets or pets in need. I love it. I get it. Like, that's awesome. That's great. How do we have that cake without losing our privacy? Husker, any thoughts on that? Like, do you see Psycho Kitty's spot there? Like, hey, saved her dog. Awesome. I'm as a dog fan, like I love that. I'm not saying like obviously this blew up. This was not a good advertisement. But is there a way to can we have both? Can we have surveillance cameras that are help us find lost kids, lost pets, help prevent crime, and still have our privacy, or those things are just not compatible?
No, I think there is a way to do it. It really comes down to who do you trust, because I could see a way of, having these cameras where maybe they have some kind of blurring, like AI blurring or something like that, where like, hey, it won't track homes, people. But again, how much do you trust it? So it's one of those cases of I think it can be done. How much do I still? Man, I am conflicted on this hardcore, because norms work. I mean, we see it. We see the stuff right now, right? Like with Trump, and I don't mean to make this political, but he is just one of those people where like there's been norms that have existed for decades or maybe even longer than that, and he's just breaking those norms. So yeah, I'm sorry, Cap. I don't have a good answer to this, man.
No,
I am deeply conflicted.
Same, and so it's like I'm conflicted as well. I'm not making light of the situation. I can fully understand and appreciate everyone who's like, absolutely not. You're not surveilling my home or my neighborhood. Wholeheartedly get that, especially when it's done in a sneaky way. I also can see the good in having these capabilities. I also, like you say, who do you trust? I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like who would I want? I don't know. Like, it's not really the big tech companies. Like I like Google used to be, don't do evil, or don't be evil. And that's always been concerning to me. That's always been like, it's like if you have to have a core value, you have to tell your people not to be evil. Like, why was that one of the first things you thought of? Like, why would you even think about being evil? Anyways, Amazon, Google, Facebook, they all listen, they steal our data, they sell our data. I don't know. Like, we earlier talking about, Tesla and the full self-driving and there's cameras and all those. Like, I'm sure, like, I don't know what they're doing with it. I'm sure, I mean, it's more than just roads. It's more than just learning to drive. They have massive amounts of video data. And I think as beyond full self-driving, I think as AI continues to improve, get better, proliferate, it's just, I've accepted it's going to be kind of, at least this is how I operate. I'm not out there doing anything illegal, or I'm not doing anything shady, or that like if someone saw me doing something out in public, they're like, oh, Chris is an awful person. I live my life in a way where if my, mother was, right beside me, she's not going to be embarrassed or upset or, disappointed in some action I'm taking out in the real world. I also appreciate privacy. My home is kind of like I don't want to say my sanctuary, but I'm a public facing person with a private life that, well, I share a picture of my dog. Yeah, but that's about it. I don't know if I've ever even shared a picture of my daughter on this app. And it's not because like, oh, I don't want people to take her create some AI stuff with it. It's just like I protect my private life. But at the same time, I've accepted that I'm probably on camera when I'm outside of my home. I just accepted that for a while, and it doesn't, therefore, because I've accepted that for a while, I've just assumed that I'm on camera without knowing who's controlling it, whether it's a government, whether it's big tech. I just am under the assumption that anything I do outside of my home is probably being captured by some video, whether it's a stoplight camera or someone's phone. So therefore, again, it's not that deep to me because I assume it's already happening anyways. But I fully understand that there's more they can do with this data than find your lost dog. I get that. I don't know the answer, but I think these are the kind of questions, I guess, that are going to continue to come up not just AI, but and not just surveillance or cameras or videos, but I think it's when you combine the two, it's become so much more powerful, right? And I think maybe that's, if I try to unpack this Ring commercial and why it blew up to the extreme, is the masses probably don't realize, maybe they didn't realize that it was recording people every time you walk by, but how powerful AI is. And it's only going to keep getting better. I understand that could be scary. It's big societal change. And yeah, I don't know the answers, but I do know that this is not, the Ring commercial is not going to be the last time we have a conversation about AI and video surveillance. And I don't know how blockchain tech can fix this one. So that's your homework this weekend. How could if they brought Ring on chain, how could that kid? Lester, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate you as always. Always enjoy the conversation. Enjoy the Raspberry Pi setup. No pressure, but I am genuinely curious to hear how that goes. I'll put you a little bit lightly on the spot when we kick off our AI segment. If you want to jump back up and give us the update, what you learned, what someone else wants to do the same thing. What mistakes did you make that you can help them avoid, and have some fun this weekend. Stay if you're too down from the market, check out Touch Some Grass. Actually, I'll leave you with this. For those of you in New York, if you're single and you're depressed because you don't have a Valentine's date, no fret. Because in New York, you can actually go to a bar with your AI boyfriend or AI girlfriend. Speaking of dystopian future, this is a real thing. This actually exists now. Have an AI boyfriend or girlfriend. Now there's a bar for you. The Post's Ricky Schlott checked out Hell's Kitchen establishment that has been redesigning for those that have AI partners so they can bring their phone along for a romantic evening. The entire bar is set up to have like solo, just go by yourself and you have a phone set up and you talk to your AI boyfriend or AI girlfriend while you're at the table. Some person said, I'm limiting it to 3 hours a day because it can be addictive. I think if you're like, you already have a problem, is my opinion. And no offense. Like if you enjoy talking to robots, talk to robots. I just don't get this. I don't get how someone can be like, have a like deep relationship, a romantic relationship with a chatbot. It doesn't like, I just don't get it. It's not, I'm not, if that's your thing, by all means, go enjoy Valentine's Day with your AI robot. I just don't get it. And, but even though I don't get it, doesn't mean it's not gonna be a thing. I talk about how bullish I am on experiential retail. Actually, kid you not, met last night before my daughter's game with, someone who's building out experiential retail, and I've got a deck. I might help them raise some funds and scale, because I do think as the world becomes more immersed in AI and this technology, and people, what are the next future jobs? I think community, experiential retail, I think all this stuff is insulated from that. And I think it's not only insulated from it, I think more, maybe I'm wrong, but I think more people are going to seek out human interaction, even if nothing else, to not just be fully talking to robots all day. Even maybe those that are dating an AI boyfriend or girlfriend, I would think they're probably still going to want to, like, I guess, supplement that with real life human interaction, and just becoming more and more bullish experiential retail. Claude adds, she had a Nest camera without a subscription. Google engineers pulled it out of deleted files since it had not been written over yet. They do only hold 3 hours of video without a subscription. Philly now has plate readers mounted on buses, so they are mobile scanning plates. The opportunity adds, can these rig cameras spot lost money on the ground? I lost a couple 50s on Saturday night. Probably so. Good luck tracking those down. Again, Husker, thanks for jumping up today, as well as Joey and Gary, and I'm drawing a blank. I know there was some others. Apologies for the rug. I don't know what happened. I don't have an answer, but appreciate y'all coming back and supporting us for take 2. And stay tuned for Monday. We will probably be announcing, maybe not kicking off some stuff next week, but I think sharing some new stuff. In addition to that weekly AI segment, if there's anything else you'd like to see some deeper dives on, or is on top of your mind, do let us know. We are open to ideas, suggestions, and want to continue to grow this as a community show. Speaking of, if you haven't yet, go subscribe to the community newsletter, coffeewithcaptain.com, drop your email, and you'll get the Saturday newsletter that comes out tomorrow. And with that, Hope you all have a wonderful day, everyone. We'll see you Monday.